Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us on the Film Yap podcast. Ben Sears and Nate Richard once again. We've come to the end of the road for this year's award season, and I figured this time we'll just talk about the Oscars, which happened on Sunday, the 98th Academy Awards. We now have a new Best Picture winner, one battle after
Viva la
another.
Revolution.
Yeah, no fear.
Yes.
Um, Yeah, so we're not gonna list off, every individual winner one by one. That would take forever. But we're just kind of hit the highlights and, talk about what we liked and disliked from the show. So I guess, yeah, let's just get it kicked off. Nate, how'd you feel about the show overall? Did you enjoy it? Did you like we can kind of start out with Conan O'Brien as a host. Did you enjoy
Yeah.
him again?
I want to start by saying when I started watching it, because I had the stream of the red carpet on Disney Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and then when it turned to 8, they cut it to like some like true crime documentary on ABC's other network. And I'm like, where is the Oscars? Where's the Oscars? Then my friend finally, like my friend was like 1 minute late, and he came there and he just logged into his YouTube TV just like that. So I missed like the opening little bit, the
Mm.
context of the opening. I did later watch the full thing, which I absolutely love that. That was really fun. I like how they used the Beastie Boys as well. And just
Mm-hmm.
the Aunt Gladys of it all. Probably would have been awkward if Amy Madigan lost and they kicked it off with that. Um, but I thought it was a really good show. It's nice when like it's going to be hard to top this year's Oscar lineup. Yeah, we wanted the season to end so badly, but like there really to me wasn't like a weak link even in the nominees. Like there's movies I liked more than others. Um and that's every year, but there was no like outright villain. There was no Amelia Perez in the room. It was just like a celebration of what was like the best or what stuck out the best and all that. And so I thought just Conan did a good job. I kind of liked him better a little bit last year, I
Mm.
will say. I think it was just because like the freshness of like he wasn't Jimmy Kimmel, he wasn't Amy Schumer,
Mm-hmm.
so he's somebody I actually like. Um, but I thought he did great. I loved the skits. I thought were actually better than even his like just commentary.
Mm.
Especially the opening and the ending one was had me
Oh
dying
yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Perfect way to cap it off. Yeah.
I hope that doesn't imply that he doesn't want to come back, but I feel like that could be like his
I,
clever way. But
I I wonder about that. Yeah, I would like for him to be back for sure. I'll take Conan over any, most of the, Nate Bargatze's or Joe Coy's or, insert stand-up comedian here. Um, I mean, John Mulaney, I think his name has been thrown around in recent years. I think that would be great, but if Conan wants to be back, I'm not going to complain.
I have one person that I would like to see host. If it's not Conan, because he presented today and I thought he handled it great, was Kumail Nanjiani. I
Sure.
think he would be excellent and just
Hmm.
he is a true blue cinephile as well. And so he's not like leading a ton of movies anymore either, so I think that kind of makes him a better, fit where it's not like too biased or
Right,
something like that. Like he's in a
right.
lot of movies, but he's more like supporting. Um and I don't know. I just thought I loved how he had his like little bit about shortening like movies, making movies into
Yeah.
shorts. I think he would be good. But
We're certainly going to talk more about Camille and his role in the evening. But
oh yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed Conan pretty much from the beginning to end. I think,
Yeah.
maybe there were a couple bits that they could have cut out. The Casablanca bit was very funny, but if they
Yeah.
would have taken it out, I wouldn't complain. The bit where he kind of imagined himself if he was an Oscar winner. Again, it was funny, but if they would have cut it out, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the opening with Aunt Gladys, yeah, where he was running through all the movies, that was pretty great. I was kind of wondering, what he would have done. Would he do like and if I had legs, I'd kick you kind of bit? Um, because he was actually in that movie. But yeah, I liked Conan. I think, watching the Oscars for so many years has kind of conditioned me for expecting the worst,
Yeah.
So I think it was a pretty great show overall, I think the biggest complaint that I've heard since Sunday has pretty much just been cutting off the Oscar speeches, which, happens
Yeah.
every year, and it did run a little long. It was, I think, close to 3.5 hours, but it was a great show. I thought, the things that they could have screwed up, I thought they did pretty well.
I feel like it flowed a lot better than some of the other recent awards because it was over. I feel like in past years it was over by it was like past midnight or midnight on the
Mhm.
dot. And this it ended like before 11, I think.
Right. Well, I think those years, that was when it started at 8. And
Yeah.
this, I think last year was the first year when they started at 7. So yeah, when they hadn't gotten to like actor and actress and it was already like 10 o'clock, I was like, yeah, this could possibly go to 4 hours. But yeah, I was having a good time, so it wasn't a complaint.
Yeah. I I I would agree. Um Forgot what I was gonna say. Well,
Well,
that's
let's
the one I would say benefit of this being in March is because they always change the time because of daylight savings.
mhm.
And I'm like, you know what? I do like it being, you know,
Earlier in the
before
evening.
midnight. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. Um, yeah, speaking of which, I think the other kind of minor complaint that I saw, and we'll talk a little bit more. Well, I guess maybe this would be a good transition. The musical performances, they did
Okay.
K-pop Demon Hunters. They performed Golden close to like 10 o'clock at night here on the East
That
Coast.
was weird.
And I didn't really think about it at the time until I saw people complain about it and why they didn't do it earlier in the evening and switch that with the Sinners performance. Um, and I the Sinners performance, while we're talking about it, was great. I thought they did
Yes.
a fantastic job just recreating that sequence from the movie and not just doing a kind of straightforward, performance like they would at like the Grammys or something. Um, the K-pop Demon Hunter song, it's a great song, but to be honest, I thought it was kind of not not a highlight. I thought
No.
it was a little stiff, I think. And I feel like they shortened it, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. They didn't perform the whole song. I might have to go back and watch it again, but yeah, I don't know. How'd you feel about the musical performances?
I would agree because as soon as they started, like they did the Sinners musical performance like early. I think like even after like was it after like only one award had been handed out or like only like two?
I don't
It
know
was,
if it was that early, but yeah, it was, in the first half of the show.
but I was just like, why is this not K-pop? Like this is what kids want to stay up for. They don't. I don't think many kids are watching Sinners.
Right.
So like, and I will say I do prefer the song Golden, but I mean, performance wise, the I lied to you. The Sinners performance was definitely better. I felt
Mhm.
it kind of fit more, and with Golden, like we've seen them do such great things with like musical performances before. Just look 2 years ago, I'm Just Ken. That's
Yep.
something that I still rewatch on YouTube like all the time. If I'm having a
Yep.
bad day, I can just tune into that. But like, and I expected a little more.
Right. Yeah, I from what I remember, I kind of feel like their performance at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was a little flashier.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they didn't do all five songs because, you know, the those two songs were head and shoulders above the other ones, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was and it was interesting. I guess kind of in terms of the other kind of extracurriculars of the evening, the in memoriam I think was another highlight of
Yes.
you know and just a different way of doing it compared to how they've done it in the past. And they did spotlight tributes to Rob Reiner and Diane Keaton and
Catherine
Robert
O'Hara.
Redford. Am I missing anyone, or
Catherine
was that it?
O'Hara, they did him.
Right.
Her as well. I thought that was done exceptionally well, except I didn't like how they had like them side by side like quick flash thing. Only because I noticed this, and I think I texted this to you too. Udo Kier, who's in a Best Picture nomination, who's a pretty respected like German cinema legend, used Flash him by next to like I think it was like a lawyer, like an entertainment
Uh-huh.
lawyer, and I'm like, it's a little odd.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Everything
mean the
else in it was great though.
right. Yeah, the in memoriam is always kind of an impossible task to try and pay tribute
Yeah.
to so many important people. I didn't even realize until after the fact that they left off James Vanderbeek. Um, and there's always several people who they don't leave on there, and it's always kind of baffling. But I also didn't realize, Barbara Streisand, she gave that tribute to Robert Redford, which was great. And someone had mentioned that several years ago she had like sworn off singing in public again,
Oh
and
wow.
she sang a little bit, but it wasn't nothing. But yeah, it was a great, very fitting tribute to all the very important figures of cinema who've died in the past year.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I I thought it was just I liked like Rachel McAdams speaking on Diane Keaton and Catherine O'Hara
Mhm.
was really beautiful. I thought the Rob Reiner with Billy Crystal at the beginning was great, and yeah, the Barbara Streisand, she was I thought it was exceptionally well done, like that, where I'm like I don't want to say like, oh, I hope they do it like this again, because I'm like, I think they did it because it was such a massive year for all the, you know, talent
Right.
that we lost. So, and I don't want that happening again. But
Hmm.
I just thought this was the most respectful way to go about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Let's get into the winners.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine, you and I texted, just like wow and holy shit. But the first award of the evening was Amy Madigan winning supporting actress for Winners. Are you happy that you stuck with that one?
Yeah, I am. I'm very, very happy. I mean, one, it's a win for horror movies. Two, I'm like, this really is the should win. I know I, to anybody saying she's a Jamie Lee Curtis, F you. Um,
Hmm.
I've seen that complaint, and I'm like, no, she's not. That movie was Weapons was great, but like she made it feel even more iconic too with the character of Aunt Gladys. Like,
Right. Yeah,
and
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it goes along with even just Oscar history because before I talked about like Marissa Tomei as like the sole nominee of her film and then winning, but to me, I look at Kathy Bates in Misery as well. Like, what an iconic villain performance, that was. And we don't really see like female villains win as much. Usually
Right.
that's just to like the mom role or the grandma role,
Right.
you
Or
know,
the grieving, or the
grieving
kept
mom.
wife or something. Yeah.
That's always what it is. And for it to be like this showy, villain, horror movie villain that's just instantly became an icon. It's like everybody. Like that was I liked her speech. She seems very down to earth for being part of a celebrity power couple with her and Ed Harris. They don't really seem Hollywoody. They just seem like,
Yeah.
maybe your hippie neighbors that you go to barbecues for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy the trajectory that she specifically has had this award season. It's like, you know, before Weapons premiered, like I don't know if anybody really knew that she was in that movie.
No.
It was all Julia Garner and James Brolin. They were being talked about, and then yeah, once it premiered, it was just instant Amy Madigan, and people were just, you know, maybe having fun with it a little bit, and just being hopeful, but then it really started to pick up steam, and then, even when she was the only nominee from her film, it kind of died down a little bit, and then yeah, she won the actor award, and that's just it. It's crazy. I don't, yeah, even with those other performances that you mentioned, I don't know if it really compares completely.
I will say I think the case against Tiana Taylor in one battle after another, while she's phenomenal in that movie, I feel like, and I think I talked about this with you before, probably even on this podcast, but like with the general audience, the first like 45 minutes of one battle after another are probably the least popular section of that movie. She's exceptional in it, but I know a lot of people were like turned off by just, the nature of that first
Sure.
45 minutes. In like the first 10 minutes, we're seeing Sean Penn get a stiffy in a
Right.
very weird fashion. Because I was watching it around Christmas time with my family. My dad's like, I don't know if I can do this. And I'm like, it gets better. And he's like, I still, I don't know if he ever finished it. But
Nice.
I know that I wasn't alone with having that experience with like my family. Like, and then with Bunmai Musaku, like she was a really late breaker in getting a nom, and she started
Yeah.
winning places. But I don't know. I feel like that movie. We'll get to the big prize it did win later. That I think is very fitting. But I don't know. I feel like that movie is such like an ensemble movie as a whole, and she's great in it.
Hmm.
She's, but I don't know. I when that movie came out, I didn't see like a ton of people being like singling her out compared to a guy we'll get to later.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I looking back on it, I didn't really have I think I probably had Wunmi Masaku in third place. And I don't blame the people who, were going so far as to predict her to win, but her win at the BAFTAs, when you look back at it, it's kind of a, British people awarding British people kind of thing, which they tend to do.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a great start to the evening. And yeah, so why don't you go ahead and pick a award that you want to spotlight, good or bad?
Do you want to get the all the acting out of the way first? Because we'll talk
Yeah, sure.
about Sean Penn, or the lack of Sean Penn. I texted you, everybody who I was texting, the friends I was with, because I played a drinking game, of course. Um, but I mean, I do not like Sean Penn as a person at all. He's great in one battle. But the funny thing was, on the red carpet, Kieran Culkin was interviewed, and he was like, last year, backstage, Robert Downey Jr. told me, he was like, yes, winning is a great part of it, but you know what the best part of it is that no one talks about? Being there the following year to give it to the person who wins after you. And he
Hmm.
brought that up on the red carpet. He's like, I don't know if that's going to happen tonight, but I hope it does. And then
Yeah.
when he opened the envelope, you could kind of see his disappointment.
Uh-huh.
And then he just kind of took a dig. at Sean Penn. He was like, couldn't be here. He's like, I guess didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I love
Yeah.
that. There's been controversy now. Delroy Lindo didn't clap. I'm like, why would he? He wasn't there. He didn't care.
Yeah,
Why are people clapping? I'm with
I
Delroy Lindo.
in a vacuum, I am totally fine with this win.
Me too.
it's an incredible performance. It's a great character that he brought to life. But yeah, to give it to someone for a third time when they don't care, as opposed to giving it to like Delroy Lindo or Stellan Skarsgård,
Stellan
who
should have
might
won.
not ever have a chance to get back up on that stage or be nominated in their lifetime. It's a bummer. Um, so I can't argue with that. If I had a ballot, I probably would have given it either to Delroy or Stellan. And it kind of like with Wunmi Masaku, I don't know if I can see an arc to Delroy Lindo's character in
No,
Sinners, but it's he's got a great body of work and he's a great personality from everything that I've heard. And um, like I said, who knows if he'll ever get a chance to be up there again. He should have been up there for the Five Bloods,
he
but
should have.
that's neither here nor there.
I will say, I also think Stellan Skarsgård's loss, it kind of defies even just Oscar logic, like the history, which again makes me say to like the people being like, oh, that doesn't track with the rest of the Oscars, what they've done. I'm like, they've been changing. Um, Stellan Skarsgård had never even been nominated before. He's
Mhm.
an iconic actor. Everybody knows him. People have seen the kinds of movies he's in, and he's in that movie that's very much a showcase for him. It feels like a natural place for him to win, and then he doesn't. It
Yeah.
just, it's a bummer. And I mean, in a vacuum, I would agree. Yeah, Sean Penn did deserve one. He was incredible in that movie. He was my personal awards. I awarded him. I mean, I nominated him. I didn't award him.
Okay.
Uh, that was Jacob Elordi who got it. But Jacob Elordi has a lot of other chances. He's younger than Timothy Chalamet.
Right. Yeah,
This is what, but yeah,
I heard someone say that, this year, especially with the Sean Penn win, it really felt like the Academy, uh, and combined with last year and the Demi Moore thing, uh, the Academy just clearly just doesn't care about career narratives.
no.
They just care about the work. And I mean, it's a bummer at the end of the day, but uh, like I said, who knows if 10 or 15, 20 years from now, we'll we'll have forgotten all about this.
I think it for a show that I think was going so great, except for what you brought up, like the cutting off of the voice of the speeches, that kind of made it lose a little bit of like momentum where it just felt a little like disappointing compared to a
Right.
show that otherwise felt very like joyous and
Yeah.
fun. And I like how Conan even brought up at the beginning, he's like, this might be a political show. And like they addressed it, but they never even said, I noticed they never said Trump once.
Right.
And I
Right.
thought that was, I know certain types were lamenting that, but I thought that was actually really clever how they could still talk about things. And I think it also made Javier Bardem's Free Palestine moment feel even more powerful, where
Right.
based Stilgar, very based Stilgar. But I, the Sean Penn moment, yeah, he probably even if he was there, maybe it also would have lost momentum, but because
Sure.
we know his personality, but still, it just felt like everyone was so happy, and then you could kind of see people not being like super thrilled when his
Hmm.
name was called, especially Kieran Culkin and Delroy Lindo.
Right. Yeah, well, speaking on the political thing, I forgot to mention this when talking about Conan. I was kind of surprised at how political like his monologue was and some of the other, before he brings out the presenters, some of his jokes. Because if I remember right, like last year, I feel like would have been the perfect time to get political, but they didn't really do that all that much. But yeah, this year seemed to be a little bit more charged, and the jokes about Ted Sarandos and Amazon, and those all went really well.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, well, I guess while we're talking about one battle after another and the wins there, just to kind of clear the record, they won 6 Oscars. Sinners won 4. One of the surprise one battle after another wins came in the new category casting, which
Yeah.
I think almost everyone, it seemed, was predicting Sinners to win that, and then one battle after another takes it. So, can you remember, how you were feeling when they read that off?
I didn't know because they just read the name at first. I was like, wait, was that?
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't Sinners, and I'm like, is that the secret agent?
Uh-huh.
At first, because I thought it flashed to that lady. It wasn't. And I was really confused at first, but then I was like, oh, I think that's meant to, I'm like, oh yeah, no, Sinners is not winning picture anymore.
Hmm.
And I was like, maybe Leo could actually pull out an upset as well in Best Actor.
Right.
I'm glad he didn't because we'll get to it. My favorite moment in the whole show. Um, but I was really happy because when you look at it, it is such a cool cast for a movie. Like,
Sure.
even, Chase Infinity had never been in a movie before, but then you cast people who aren't even really regular actors. You have like Jim Downey in that movie as well. You have
Yeah.
like the nurses, you have,
The
you
the her
Dejan. Like,
her kind of non-binary friend in high school. He's a real high schooler.
yeah,
He's not. I don't know if he's a real actor or not, but
yeah.
I wonder that obviously
Jungle
there's a lot
Pussy.
of curiosity. What's that?
Jungle Pussy.
Oh yeah, can't forget about that. I wonder. There's going to be a lot of curiosity about how to predict this category going forward. But I think, you know, kind of looking back on it, one battle after another, definitely of the nominees had the most like A-listers, Leo, Sean Penn, Benicio,
Regina.
Regina Hall, Alana Haim, Wood Harris, um, and then yeah, the discovery of Chase Infinity. And she's worked with PTA pretty much his entire career. So I wonder now, like I said, if it's going to be, is it going to be a best picture kind of correlation, or is it going to be, the most A-listers or the most recognizable names, or who knows? It's very curious.
I think it kind of also just proves it's more about the actual art of like being a casting director instead. It's not just what cast would I want to hang out with and get a beer with,
I mean, I
because
would want to get a few small beers with the one battle after another cast.
I would do it with most of them except Champagne.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think it was just more about because it was pretty, just creative casting. I do remember though when the movie was initially like in pre-production, it was almost not Leo and Sean. It was almost Joaquin and Viggo
Right.
Mortensen, which
I
I
feel like
can't
I
see
heard
that
about that.
movie.
Yeah.
I cannot. Maybe I could see Vigo a little bit. I cannot see Joaquin Phoenix doing what Leo did in that movie.
Oh, see, my mind immediately went to Joaquin in the Sean Penn role,
Oh, I could
and
see that
that
easy.
I could see a little bit better. But yeah, maybe not as successfully as Sean Penn, but yeah, that's a real sliding door scenario.
Yeah, because I feel like Leo brings kind of a warmth also to like Bob Ferguson that Joaquin I don't really ever think he can get me to like feel warm and fuzzy. He's
Yeah.
usually picking pretty complicated, grimy characters or incels.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Well, I guess while we're talking about surprise Best Picture contender wins, let's go to cinematography. And
Yes.
another one that you stuck with, and
Last
kudos to
minute, I
you.
changed it. And
Oh,
I'm
really?
so mad I changed it last minute, but I was so happy when it won. Sinners.
Yeah. I that was probably the biggest surprise of the night, just because like I had said it on our predictions episode, like one battle after another kind of cleaned up in the precursors. It did not really lose where it needed to. And that's the industry awards, and uh they've had female cinematographer nominees before, and they had their chance. So I wonder, and I feel like I've heard kind of anecdotally people who have talked to Academy members and people, in the industry, and they didn't really care for the look of Sinners. So I don't know. I don't know what it was, especially that kind of brought Autumn Durald Arkapaw over the finish line here.
I think it's just even that juke joint scene alone and
Yeah.
just I mean, I think how they made it feel because it mainly takes place in one building in the juke
Right.
joint. Yet it
Right.
feels so
At
freaking
night,
like vast.
over one night. So it's not like there's a lot of, changes of lighting or anything like that.
And I mean, they shot it with 70 millimeter IMAX cameras too. So did One
Hmm.
Battle. He's shot
Right.
in this division, but like I don't know, because both of those were like two. I got to see those both in 70 millimeter. But Sinners, when I saw Sinners, it was my second time seeing it. But I feel like it like overshadowed my first time watching it, just seeing it in the 70 millimeter. Because I'm like, holy shit, this feels like invigorating. And
Hmm.
I'm sure it would have felt that same way with One Battle had I, seen it in standard first, then 70 mil.
Sure.
But I think it just depends on like what for one thing, I know PTA like helped with the cinematography a lot on One Battle.
Right.
I There's probably a controversy in that department with that.
Yeah, because he was, if I remember right, he was like a co-DP on Licorice Pizza.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
But like yeah, the Sinners has, the juke joint, the one shot that is so awesome, or them walking through the city. But One Battle also has some like the road. I mean, the
Yeah.
winding road, like that scene is euphoric watching that. Like it's so freaking good. But I think they're both would have been either one would have been a great winner, but I'm just really happy because I thought Autumn Gerald Arkapaw just gave an incredible speech as well. And just seeing the excitement in the room when her name was
Yeah.
announced was just made it even better.
Yeah, I feel like watching on TV, yeah, Sinners really, pretty much any time it came up got a really big pop from the audience. You could really feel the enthusiasm and the love for it. I guess let's keep it on these two, and screenplay as expected kind of went back and forth, and they presented them one after the other. So PTA finally getting his first Oscar of the night, with one battle after another for screenplay, and then Ryan Coogler winning for Sinners. Not much surprise there, but still,
No.
they both gave great speeches. PTA, I liked all of his speeches, all three of them. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, let's, I guess we kind of got sidetracked from the acting win. So uh I don't really know if we really need to dedicate a whole lot of time to Jessie Buckley winning Best
No. We
Actress.
knew.
Yeah, not
Sh-
surprising, but still great. You know, she gave a
Yeah.
great speech. I love her. I love almost all of her performances. I
Yeah,
haven't
she's
seen them all,
great.
but I've loved whatever I've seen her in.
The Bride?
Haven't seen it yet. I
Me neither.
might go this week. Uh, for now, I love all of her performances. Um,
Um, but I will say, yeah, my favorite moment of the night, even though I was Team Timmy, Michael B. Jordan's win was just, I rewatched that moment. That was like the moment that I felt maybe the most energy in the room,
mhm.
too, where it just makes so much sense. I just love having him be an Oscar winner now as well, because he's already a movie star, but he's still like, he's not 40 yet. So
Right.
he's still in like his younger days of like movie stardom. For it to happen now is awesome as well. Um, and just I loved his speech, just how genuine he felt, and he really made it seem just how much it meant to him
Right.
to be winning it. Like that, I think meant so much more than just Sean Penn not even show. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep shading Sean Penn because fuck him. Um, but you know, as much as I was rooting for Timmy, I think just Michael B. Jordan just felt more like humble to it. I loved his
Right.
speech. It even just talking about, his parents and just all the black leads who'd won in that category before. Um, even just his reaction shot, because you could see everybody. Timmy broke into smile. He smiled,
Yeah. Yeah.
but Michael B. Jordan was like frozen, like he was like in disbelief. While
Yeah.
like Jessie Buckley, when she won, she like tried to act surprised. She wasn't. She's
Right.
just a good
Yeah.
actress. She's a good Michael B.
She
Jordan,
deserved it.
she did. She definitely did. But Michael B. Jordan, he did actually seem like genuinely like
Right.
in
Yeah.
disbelief. And I'm really happy he won.
Yeah. Did you, was there any moment, especially with Sinners losing the casting thing, did you think that maybe Timmy still had a chance?
So when Sinners lost casting, I was like, I think it's gonna be Leo. And the friend I was watching it with, who's over at my place, he was like, I think this actually could make it better for Timmy. And
Right.
I'm like, I don't know, because they kept making the opera ballet jokes throughout. That was my one complaint. I'm like, the
Right.
first one was kind of funny from Conan, but then they
Sure.
kept going. And then the shorts guy, the guy from Two
Yeah.
People Exchange Life, I was just like, shut up.
Yeah.
Timmy, slap him. Poor Will Smith.
Yeah. I'm not the first person to say this, but yes, we do not need another award season as long as this one. Uh, it's crazy. The thing that I appreciated, which I thought was very clever and funny, was at the end of the Sinners I Lied to You performance when the ballerina Misty Copeland, when she came out like front and center. Because I remembered seeing that she would be part of it and being kind of curious, like I guess I didn't know she was a singer or a performer, but now it made sense why they brought her out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love Michael B. Jordan. I probably would have voted for Timmy, and now unfortunately we're gonna have to deal with the Timothy Chalamet discourse again whenever he's nominated for whatever it is.
June 3.
Uh,
Goes bald. If he's attacked by a bear and sleeps inside of a horse in that movie, he's
right.
gonna win.
Yeah, in 15 or 20 years, yeah. Um,
Directed by
yeah,
Inarritu.
I'm already not looking forward to it. Because I mean, I love and I'm not gonna go so far as to say that he lost it because of his campaign or whatever. I think, when you take a step back and look at the character of Marty Supreme and or Marty Mouse or whatever, and what that movie is, and think about who is voting on the Oscars, yes, they're younger and more international and more hip and cool now, but that is not a likable character that, the old guard would ever feel good about voting for,
At the same time,
even without the campaign shenanigans.
I would say I would agree, but what about Joker? Joaquin Phoenix is a Joker. Like you feel bad out of him, but it's like pity. It's not like, oh, I hope life gets better. It's just like this guy's great.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever have a full understanding of what happened there.
Like
Um,
I great performance, but I'm like, he's not a likable character in that.
uh-huh.
I feel like I would rather get a beer with Marty Mauser than Arthur Fleck, wouldn't you?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody would.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, Michael B. Jordan is an Oscar winner, and that's going to be on every poster that he's on from now on. So,
Miami Vice
who
next
can be
summer.
mad about that? Yeah, Miami Vice, Thomas Crown Affair, Creed
I
4, who knows?
I did want to point out though the fun fact. I post this on all my social media. I might have texted it to you too. I don't know. I texted it to a lot of different people. I'm like, but this was before the show. I was just like, if he wins tonight, he'll be the second best actor winner to star in a Miami Vice movie afterwards, right after his win.
Hmm. You did not text me that, I don't think.
Okay.
Who? Huh.
Jamie Foxx.
Oh,
He
right.
played
Yes.
Tubbs, Miami
Yeah.
Vice, Michael
Sorry,
Mann.
my mind fixated on Colin Farrell, but that's
No,
yeah,
both the
that's an
same character.
interesting stat.
Ricardo Tubbs. I'm like,
Yeah.
hell, this, I love that. It makes me very happy. I'm like, he's continuing the tradition. I mean, I kind of miss Jamie Foxx was doing great up until like, what is he doing now? He's doing a lot of direct to VOD movies. Him and Russell
Netflix
Crowe.
stuff, and he was in a movie with Cameron Diaz. I know that.
Oh, I did see that. That was still like big budget. Like,
Yeah. Who
I don't
knows?
know.
All right, you've
That's besides
convinced
the
me.
point.
I'll rewatch Miami Vice.
Yay.
You pulled my leg.
It's a good movie.
All right. So let's see what else. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off and let's talk about the tie.
Yay.
The best live action short was a tie between two people exchanging saliva, which both of us and pretty much everyone predicted. And the singers. Um, First time since 20, I guess 2013, 2012. Who knows?
2013.
Yeah. So, what take me through it? What went through your mind when they announced the tie?
So I finally, because last time we recorded a week ago, I hadn't seen any of the shorts. I watched them all over the weekend leading up. They watched most of the documentary. Um, and my favorite of them of the lot in that category was the singers.
Hmm.
When Kamel first read out there's a tie, I did not expect it to be the sinners. The singers. I said the sinners. The singers. I
Sequel.
Yes. I expected it to be like a friend of Dorothy or
Yeah.
something. I feel like it would have been that. Um, but no. Um, I thought both are just really great kind of winners as well. Um,
For
even
different
if
reasons too.
yeah, the singers, I just found it to be so like that was just a fun watch. Um, it wasn't like too heavy, but it was filmed so incredibly well.
Hmm.
Like just everything. I thought it had just like even just a great like there's an underlying theme of like, you know, vulnerable masculinity, not,
Yeah.
you know, these like burly men being vulnerable or not being all gruff and everything. I like that. That's the kinds of stories that I honestly really affect me in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. And then with two people exchanging saliva, Initially when you were describing it to me and some other people, I was like, am I gonna like this? I don't know. I do like Lanthimos. This just sounds a little weird. It is very Lanthimos, but I really like that as well. And I was like shocked how like caught up in the story I was
Hmm.
for just like a 35-minute short. I was like, wow, I'm like kind of feeling this like big time. So I thought they were both like such great winners.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for like both of them. Even if the guy from Two People Exchanging Saliva made another ballet opera joke, I was like, shut up,
Uh-huh.
dude.
Yeah.
Still great. I love how
Yeah.
Kumail handled it too. He was just like, this is not a joke. And then he was
Yeah.
like pretending to act panicked. He's like, I know exactly what to do. And he did. They did. But it was
Yeah,
funny.
I thought he handled that really well. I wonder, if all of the presenters are briefed on like what happens if there is a tie, or maybe, if he was tipped off at, at the on the wings of the stage before he goes out there. But yeah, he handled it really well, and it could have very easily been messy or weird. And yeah, they just, one team went up and gave their speech, and then the other came up and gave their speech. Um,
I wonder if because you know how they do rehearsals, that that's just something they say. It's like this is what you
mm,
do if there's a tie. This probably won't happen, but
sure.
this is exactly what you do. But even then, I wouldn't be shocked if like the Price Waterhouse guy just like tipped him off. It's like, hey,
Mm,
this is a tie. I'm not gonna tell you who it is, but this tie is what you're
right.
gonna do. He's like, cool.
Yeah. I would imagine that whenever Camille does some like late night appearance or something, he's gonna talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I had mentioned this when we did our predictions about, the new rules on for Academy voters. They can't vote on something if they haven't seen all of the nominees. And apparently that was always the case with the shorts. But I wonder if the reason for the tie is because of this new rule and the lower turnout for these categories in particular. And it was a tie because only 50 people watched them and voted on them.
Yeah. I don't know, because
um,
there was th this is not the first time even in this category. I looked not I forget when it was. It was like I think 93 or something
hmm.
when it happened in this same category, live action short. But you could be right.
Very cool. Well, yeah, we got another surprise as well with the other animated short.
Boo.
Went to The Girl Who Cried Pearls. Yeah,
No.
I stated that I wasn't a fan of that one either, but surprising nonetheless. I
Scary.
think it's. Did you get two of the three shorts right? Or
I
I guess
mean,
one and a half of the shorts?
I technically got it right because even in number two, I had the singers at number two, and the awards expert app counted that as a win. So I was like,
Sure.
okay, here we
Yeah.
go. I got it right, kind of.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, no,
I did not get Girl Who Cried Pearls.
no, I didn't either. Yeah, that's another one where I wonder if, the only people who voted on it were the animation nerds, and the animation nerds love stop motion animation. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it wouldn't have been my vote, but uh, and it didn't end up being the category that broke my Oscar pool, but um, uh, I don't know, just. You can never discount the shorts for throwing in a little chaos.
yeah. I mean, I knew a lot of people had that in second too, so I'm like, okay. I was
Yeah.
really, I thought it was going to be Butterfly, but I would really, my favorite of those was Retirement Plan, was my
Yep.
favorite. I thought that one was, it was the shortest, but it was also kind of, I don't know, it made me feel like a wide swathe of emotions in just like 7 minutes.
Yeah, it was funny, it was touching, it maybe didn't have the greatest animation, but it had everything else.
Yeah,
So
I love that one.
yeah,
And then documentary short went to the one that we all kind of figured it would, which was All the Empty Rooms, which was
yep.
one that I watched and kind of ruined my weekend because it's a very enraging watch where,
Yeah.
sometimes you just kind of want to like scream at our politicians, and that's what this made me want to
It,
do.
is that why you lost your voice?
No, I was kind of already feeling under the weather then.
Yeah.
Um,
Nate's recovering from a sickness for the
yes.
listeners. Um, yeah, well, I guess moving from documentary short to feature, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, another
Yeah.
kind of surprise. It may not be totally surprising now that we have hindsight, but um, I, yeah, I predicted The Perfect Neighbor. I
I did
guess,
too.
maybe we need to just continue voting for the Russia and Ukraine documentaries, you know.
I it almost feels like this category needs to change somewhat because it's going to the same Russia, Ukraine. Last year was a change, but it's like, okay, you had
Sure.
the 20 Days in Mariupol. Was that the one
Uh-huh.
this year, or was that the one that won?
20 Days in Mariupol won, yeah.
Okay, like that one was great. But now it's kind of getting, it's like, okay, you guys can pick something else with a different topic because Alabama Solution and Perfect Neighbor kind of deal with real shit going on right now.
Right.
And
And
yeah,
for all the ones that have been nominated and won, there are still plenty more out there that have been made. I trust me on this one. Like I watched one either last year or the year before that was it's called Checkpoint Zoo. And
Hmm.
it's about like a zoo in Ukraine, and they had to like evacuate all the animals in the opening days of the
Oh,
war.
I can't
And
watch that.
yeah,
I can't
it
see
was
animals in peril.
it was not fun. But yeah, there's plenty more lurking there under the surface. There was even one last year from the 20 Days in Mariupol director, 2,000 meters to Andreevka. And then there was the My Undesirable Friends, which didn't get a nomination, which is about
Yeah.
Russia.
That one I
So
heard was better than this too. Like I heard great things about this, Mr. Nobody. That's one of the only films nominated I didn't get a chance to see. And I'm like, part of the reason why is because I don't want to see children in peril. And I'm like, I heard it somebody comment on the Big Picture Pod. Do you listen to that too?
sometimes, yeah.
Well, because Amanda brought up, she was like, he's kind of endangering these kids' lives by making a documentary about him. I think that's kind of reckless. And I'm like, she is right. Why would you endanger these kids' lives? At least blur their faces out. So I think
Yeah.
it is. I don't like that that happened. Um, I think Alabama Solution was the last movie I watched before the Oscars. I thought that I would have loved that to win because I thought
Yeah.
the message in that movie just felt like really it caused like anger, but it also felt like a great like call to action as well in a way
Yeah.
that even The Perfect Neighbor, which I thought was exceptional, it felt a little like anticlimactic or like rushed at the ending when it came to like the standard ground law. It just kind of ended with, the crazy woman being arrested
Yeah.
and it just had like a slideshow at the end. Well, Alabama Solution, I thought was just great as a piece of documentary filmmaking and also journalism. I would have liked that to win. Obviously, it wasn't going to, but I think the
Sure.
documentary, it's like what happened. They've always been very hipstery, or just like, because it's like I remember when Mr. Rogers didn't even get a nomination.
Right. Yeah.
Like that was a huge year for documentaries, because it was that and Three Identical Strangers, which were like documentaries don't make a lot of money at the box office.
Right.
Um, including Melania. Um, sorry, I had to pull Jimmy Kimmel there. Um, but I remember those two movies kind of became like mainstream hits that summer. People talked about them,
Right.
people loved them, and then they weren't even nominated. Mr.
Yeah.
Rogers, I think, was more egregious. But like, what happened? Did they like they don't do these biographical docs, but they also just always focus on these like documentaries where it's like, okay, what documentary ruined our day the most? That's what we're voting for. Except the
Sure.
Octopus Teacher. That's an outlier.
Right. Yeah, no, they need to make more documentaries about octopuses and
Yes.
friendships with people. No, I mean, yeah, outside of Summer of Soul, which I thought was incredible. Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, that too. That was
taken a
good.
real turn in recent years in terms of the nominees. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to complain too much because I think they're very good and they're
Yeah.
very important. And I'd much rather see them nominated than like some, celebrity biodoc. Uh,
Melania.
so yeah, I
That's next year
no,
though.
I
Jimmy Kimmel's joke was wrong. Uh Brett
right.
Ratner would know. He'll qualify for next year.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. Well, speaking of which, is there anything else you want to touch on? We've got a couple minutes left. Or is there
Yeah.
anything else you liked or didn't like or feel like we need to mention?
I mean, just the picture with one battle. I was talking with my friends, and it's like there has been a really noticeable shift in like the best picture winners. I have a playlist on my YouTube. I could send it to you if you want it, but you probably have you seen every single best picture winner?
No, not all of them.
Okay,
I
because it's
crossed a
all
few
the
blind spots off last week, but still got a ways to go.
I really want to get to that this year. That's a goal. I probably should have as soon as I was became unemployed. That would have been a good use of my time, but you know what? I'm making good use of my time right now talking with
There you
you.
go.
Um,
Same.
I wasn't even joking. I'm being serious on that. But you could see a shift in like I watched the last 15 years, the trailers for the last 15 Best Picture winners, and you could see a shift going on the kinds of movies they've been giving it to, especially in the 2020s. I think
Right?
it really started with Parasite. Um, but Parasite, Nomadland, Coda, um, Everything Everywhere All at Once, um, was
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, Anora, and now One Battle. These do not feel like movies that would have won like 20 years ago. And I love
No,
that. And I feel like right now, I mean, I wouldn't say Everything Everywhere and Coda were this as much as I love those movies, but it's like it feels like they're giving it to like sometimes like these overdue filmmakers as well, or because 2 years ago was a celebration of Christopher Nolan for
sure.
Oppenheimer. This year was a celebration for PTA for One Battle, and then last year was a celebration for Sean Baker, like an indie film icon. But I do like that they're going for these more subversive kinds of movies that end up speaking to people in a lot of different ways. Even Coda, I think, is a very different kind of Best Picture winner than if I know the favorite that year was Power of the Dog. I think Power of the Dog probably would have won Best Picture even if it was released in 1991. I feel like that movie was kind of Oscar baity, was not as like subversive as like Coda was a small little movie that just kind of
Sure.
rose from the or Nomadland, where it's almost like a pseudo documentary. It's kind of depicting parts of America that really don't get covered that much or in that kind of way. Because we
Right.
see a lot of movies with like, retirees as a lead, but it's like movies like Book Club, or uh Last
Yeah.
Vegas.
Right.
And this
Or
was so
yeah, unhoused people are, yeah,
yeah,
depicted very
sad.
differently.
It's depressed, but it's like I thought that was very different and just very touching. Everything Everywhere. That's a movie with fighting with dildos and butt
Uh-huh.
plugs and hot dog fingers. And it's a comedy. It's a feel-good movie. It's heavy. It's ambitious. It's made on a low budget, but feels like a blockbuster movie. Like I
Hmm.
remember seeing that. Were you at the Heartland screening, the initial one? They screened that early?
No.
'Cause I remember walking out of that and feeling because they held it at Newfields and it felt like such a rush. I remember
Yeah.
DC kept looking over me during the movie. He's like, "Is he liking this or not? I don't know. I can't tell." I was like, "That was the best movie I've seen in a long time."
Uh-huh.
Um, Even Oppenheimer, I think it's a little bit closer, but not really. Christopher Nolan was always ignored, you know,
Right.
and he still told like a true story in his own way. Anora, the most F words in a Best Picture winner. Very profane. It's about sex work. It's pretty explicit. Uh, has like Russian actors in it, but it's not like, you know, about like Putin or Ukraine or any of that. It's,
Yeah.
I think all of these winners. And then One Battle is a movie where PTA also making something a little more populist or accessible, but it's also a movie that I think represents the Academy has always had kind of backwards politics, with they're like, we voted for Green Book, we solved racism, guys. Crash is solving racism. It's like, okay, One Battle is a movie that acknowledges, the faults in previous generations and their, fight for what they believe in, and then it's not giving you a solution, but it's telling you there's hope. And I
Yeah.
think that's a kind of winner that I think the Academy usually would be like, no, we want solutions. And I like how that won. I mean, it's also like Everything Everywhere has a weird sense of humor that's not gonna be
Hmm.
everyone's cup of tea, and it's an action movie.
Right.
Action movies don't win.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean that's well said. I think, you always wonder with every Best Picture win, how will this stand up, 15, 20 years from now? And yeah, I think One Battle After Another will really stand the test of time.
Yes.
Um, as well as, yeah, Oppenheimer and uh, Everything Everywhere and Parasite and
Yeah.
Nomadland. And yeah, it's been a real strange shift that the Academy has undergone. And I'm excited to see where it goes. And
Curious. What do you have any early say on what next year's will be?
well, actually, I was gonna say I think that should be what we talk about next time is
Yes.
our early, the Oscar calendar is 365 days, so uh, we can kind of spotlight a couple movies that we think might rise above, and um, we'll give people something to look out for. I
Yes.
think, we're not going to do it, next week or anything. Maybe we should wait until like after the can lineup is announced. So,
Yeah.
because then things really come into focus a little bit more. So,
Yeah.
very cool. Well, this has been fun and a
Very.
great award season, even if it went on for several years. Um, and it's been fun talking with you, Nate, and I
Yes.
appreciate you joining me in this.
Appreciate you.
And we'll talk again soon.